What would I tell my 21-year-old self? I guess I would tell the same as my 54-year-old self. I'm unashamed about my age. I'm blessed to have made it this far. The same applies for me to pause, pray, and then proceed. You see, in my opinion, too often we knee-jerk any reaction that happens. I can share a story with you about that. I was sitting in an office with a woman who did not believe that I should have been her supervisor. You can take from that whatever you want, but you can imagine what it was like. Suddenly, out of nowhere, because she was used to speaking to people however she wanted to, she said, "Your husband must love witches." And where people were like, "What? You didn't chop her up? You didn't curse her out? You didn't scream?" I didn't move. I watched the clock and I waited until it clicked at the high noon hour. And I said, "No, my husband doesn't like witches or he would be married to you." You can imagine how her face changed. And I said, "Well, you know what? Witches ride on brooms. You probably that wouldn't work out too well for you." She ran to the captain's office and I was called in. And the only thing that the captain focused on was the fact that I had called her a witch. Again, I paused. I said a prayer. Jeremiah 1:9 is my favorite because it's basically God touching my lips and giving me the words, because if CeeCee were to say the words, they would not go so well. And I noticed that the captain had a form on his desk ready to fill it out to write me up. I didn't change my expression. I put on my best poker face and I said, "Sir, I see that you're going to document this. If you could grab one more form for this woman here," as what she left out was that she had called me a witch first. Sometimes we miss the moment because we're focused on what just happened to me. Had I just focused on what just happened to me with being placed under investigation and lied on profusely, I would not be sitting here before you. I thank God that my thoughts were never too dark, but I got into a pretty bad rabbit hole of wondering what in the world I could have done to someone else. I would tell that 21-year-old young lady to keep going. I would tell her that the world is not going to accept you on sight in some settings. I would tell her that at a very young and fit age, she would be a drill instructor training thousands of other people on how to do the job the right way. I would tell her that she would win and she would overcome and that the arbitration win was coming. I would remind her that God allows certain tests to sharpen us. We just can't see it in the moment. I would tell her to shine. I would tell her to smile. I would tell her to bury deep the feeling of insecurity and her introvertedness that people don't understand. And I would tell her, game on.